welcome to another edition of Saturday Morning with GunzPicks. As we watch the sun rise on a beautiful Saturday morning, I sit back and reminisce with a fresh cup of Folgers Crystal. What's going on, everybody? How you doing on this beautiful morning? It is Saturday mornings with the GUNZPICKS. Oh, yes. And we are here for Saturday mornings with Guns Picks on a college football Saturday. What's going on in the chat? What's going on? Candyman, the Candyman can and makes the world taste good. Time to cash one of these fun sakes. And guess what? Bob's saying Candyman dropping his own little cup of coffee parlay on this one. He loves Wisconsin, NC, Bama. Oh, Bama. Ugh, don't like that one. Navy, Kansas. The under in the Troy game, the under in the UGA game, plus 3,010. That's a good cup of coffee parlay. I just don't like Bama today, unfortunately. Damn good, Hans. And of course, Clint joining us in the chat. What's going on? Man, this is gonna be a truth teller week, I think. And this is where we start figuring out who teams really, really are. We're gonna find out today who Bama really is. Are they really going to be the regression team that I think they're gonna be? Or are they gonna show out here against Jimbo Fisher, a team that is on the rise and potentially one of the best teams in the SEC? Also, I think we're going to have a make or break moment here with Georgia today, going against Kentucky. That's a big game for them. I think a lot of people are down on UGA, and usually, historically, when people are down on UGA, that's when you see Kirby Smart turn up and dominate a team. I'll be talking about these games, of course, a lot of the top 25 games. Also, I got 3 more plays that I'm going to be giving you today periodically throughout the show. But I want to talk to you guys. I want to talk to the chat. I want to talk to everybody that is joining me live this morning and taking time out of their morning. And everything college football. If you got plays you want me to talk about, you want my opinions, this is what this show is for. This is interactive. This is what we do. And this is how we get started here. There in 14 says, what do we got today, Guns? If you actually look at my plays from last night, I did post them on Twitter at GunzPicks, so you can go check them out. I gave you a 6-pack, and I'm going to give you 3 more plays here. And, of course, my guy, Craig. Morning. Let's go O's. Hey, listen, love the O's. Fun team. I got to say it, Craig. I love the O's. Love them. Love them. Love them. And I already I took a future on them, AL, to win the AL plus 280. So, fingers crossed on this one. They do have a tough matchup there with the Rangers. But that is what's going on. And then look at 29. He's still hanging around this morning out in Aussie. Sup, big boy. All right, let's just get the I'm going to give one of my added plays right now while you guys are watching as we speak. And of course, people call me the anti-prime, the Benon's Dion hater. I'm not a Dion hater. I just look at the numbers and I think this team's value is a little bit overinflated, and I like to take advantage of it. I'm going to take advantage of it here because I think this is a pure trap game for Colorado. Where's Colorado coming from? They're coming from back-to-back losses versus Oregon and USC. USC, they actually put up a great fight in that one, making that little comeback towards the back half of the second half. 48-41 was the outcome, plus 66 net yards in that game. So they actually played maybe above a little bit the pay grade of USC, but the score outcome didn't prevail. But now let's talk about Arizona State on this one. 4-game losing streak, but they've been very competitive in the last 4 games, and they are hungry for a win. Those are dangerous teams in these spots. Now, Arizona State had a relatively tough schedule. Their last 4 games, they had to play Oklahoma State. You saw what they did last night. I'm actually surprised what Oklahoma State did. Fresno State, USC, and Cal at home. So they had some really tough situational matchups. So I wouldn't really downgrade this Arizona team just yet. Despite their competition, though, they have a minus 11-point differential, minus 16 net yard average. So they're staying in the yardage situation, but they're not getting the scoring outcome that is anticipated here for Arizona State. Now you got Colorado is known for their great offenses, 440 yards per game overall in total offense, but Arizona State has a sneaky good defense. They actually look at the numbers for them. They hold their opponents to 60 yards per game below their season average. and they only give up 348 yards of total offense, 3.9 yards per carry, and 213 yards passing. And I told you who the competition was. USC, Cal has a good offense. Fresno State is a real strong G5 team, so they're actually putting up these numbers against relatively good offensive opponents. Colorado's defense, a lot of issues, right? 480 yards of total offense given up to their opponents, 5.1 yards per carry on the ground, 70% pass completion rate, and 286 yards per game passing. So this team is Swiss cheese when it comes to the defensive side. Also, Arizona State has been working on their offense week to week to get the rhythm down, especially at the quarterback position. I think they may have found their guy, though, in this Trenton Burgett. He has a 65.3% pass completion rate, 8 yards per attempt, and a 124.2 QB rating. So positive numbers, positive things here for Arizona State going into this game. His first start last week was a loss versus Cal, and they only lost by 3 on the road. So that is actually pretty good for Arizona State. Arizona State's owns this matchup too versus Colorado. Granted, this is pre-Dion era, but the home team is 10-2 against the spread, 8-4 straight up in the last 12 meetings. I just think we're taking advantage of an overinflated public perception from the market on Colorado currently. Everybody judges it from those non-conference first 3 games of the season and thinks that Colorado is back. Once they get to the Pac-12 schedule, you're starting to see them lose, and I think we might even see them lose outright here, but I'm going to just be conservative on this one. Take them at the spread. Give me Arizona State plus 4.5, 2-unit special. And I always ask you guys, if you're watching now, you're watching later, or you're watching on X, get your ass over here to YouTube and come hang out with us because I can't see your chats if you're putting them up there. I can only see them on YouTube. This is what StreamYard gives me. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. The Shark Nation channel, and hit the like button on these videos so we can be in the algorithm and spread the love to the Guncyples and the nation themselves on this one. Theron 14 says UGA first half today. Don't like it, love it. I do love that one, man. I think that is a nice play. I like him in the game. I think this is a step up for Georgia. And Georgia's going to be, when the lights are their brightest and they're playing a ranked team like Kentucky, that's when they're going to turn up and show them who Georgia really is, regardless of the, Beck, need a big game out of Beck. Stetson Bennett's not going to do it for you anymore. He's obviously gone to the NFL. So I think this is going to be a big show-out game here for the Georgia Bulldogs. All right. Candyman in the chat also, that Bama time to see if they got it or not. Yeah, I understand. I mean, if someone told me they're on Bama today, that's fine. But it gets me a little bit worried that everybody's on A&M. I thought that was me being a little bit sneaky on this one. But listen, I can't get off the numbers on them. I think Texas A&M is just a tremendously underrated team in the market right now. And after this game, they're going to be overinflated, and I'm going to have to jump ship for a little bit because I think the books are going to catch on and the public's going to catch on. It's like, oh wait, Jimbo Fisher's back, A&M's back, the Aggies are back. This isn't a 5-7 team anymore. All right, while you guys are watching me right now, let's get into a little bit of something we call my special, freshly brewed cup of coffee parlay. The cup of coffee parlay, freshly brewed, served with you with a little bit of cream and a little bit of sugar, maybe even a splash of pumpkin, if that's your thing. But the cup of coffee parlay, sponsored by Viva Tequila Seltzers. Viva Tequila Seltzers, 4.5 ABV, 0 carbs, 0 sugar. Go check them out at vivaseltzer.com and then on Twitter at Viva Seltzer. Delicious drink, and I'll be having a few of those bevies today on this Saturday. But let's talk about the cup of coffee parlay here. Oklahoma, we're going to be taking them on plus 4.5. Listen, this team got beat 49-0 last year. This is a get right spot, and I think Venables has got those guys cooking. People are doubting who this team really is. I think they show it today. This is one of those other teams who they really are. This is when Oklahoma steps up into the precipice of college football playoff lore. I think people are too high on Texas, so I'm going to take them at plus 4.5. Regardless who wins, I think it's going to be a 3-point game. And then Missouri at home, big game for them. LSU deflated, dreams shattered. plus 5.5. I'm just going to be conservative. I'm not going to put them on the money line on this one because, LSU is coming off a bad loss last week. UCLA money line, FSU money line, Purdue money line, Texas A&M money line. I've been talking about them all week. Northern Illinois money line. I'll break down that game in a second because I'm got some dirty, greasy money in the crumbs plays to give you next. Florida money line, UGA money line, and Ohio State money line. That is a plus 52.90 parlay. So you put $10 on this, pays out $529. Like I said, we're not spending hundreds of dollars. We're not trying to buy a steak dinner with this. Well, if you win with $10, you can buy a steak dinner, I guess. But we're just going to risk, maybe a couple cups of coffee at Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing on this one, or Dunkin' Donuts, or not Bob Evans, Tim Hortons, if you're in the Canadian northern region. Of course, Craig is going to be on the Hokies money line. Okay. You got Florida State today. Good luck with that one. Let's do this one. Zona State live home dog. Yeah. Big time. Yeah. Hopefully that came through. I've been working on that sound for a while, and man, my microphone doesn't work on a speaker for some reason. Craig in the chat goes, tough game for ND today. Is Louisville legit? I guess we'll see. I think this is it's going to be a tough spot for them. I'll get to that game in a second. I do have some thoughts on this one. I mean, 6.5. It was 5.5. Now it's 6. Now it's 6.5. It's kind of going into the direction of Notre Dame, even though Notre Dame is public on this one. But man, it's like this is their 7th game with no bye. I mean, you got to understand they've been playing straight through week 0, and they've been playing a gauntlet in the last 2 weeks. So tough spot for them, especially with USC coming up on this one. Thoughts on the A&M game, dude? It's an A&M day. I gave it out last night. It's my 3-unit banger, and I also sprinkled on the money line. It's my biggest play of the year. I love Texas A&M plus 2.5, and I like them on the money line too. And you might as well grab it now. I haven't looked to see what the line is currently on that one. I'm going to pull up my odds screen real quick here. That game does kick off at what, 3:30? Let's see. Hold on. Let me get my. I'm looking here at my odds screen, and it looks like you're going to get 2.5s out there. They are available, so go grab on them now. Yeah, fun parlay. That's all we're doing on this one. We ain't trying to. This is just fun money, man. I call them lotto tickets. Parlay guys are money makers, man. It's straight bettors that make the bank. Maybe some shrimp. Have some shrimp on me. Get down on shrimp down. A&M wins straight up. Yeah, I'm with you on this one. All right, let's go with the next pick on this beautiful Saturday. And I like to play in the mud. I like to play in the dirt. I like to do the greasy plays that you may not be able to find on your television channel. And we're going to be talking about revenge type of game, which I like to take advantage of the situations. Bowling Green versus Miami, Ohio. This game kicks off at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to be on my Miami on this one. Ohio, Miami. Got them at minus 8.5, minus 9. I like that line altogether on this one. Listen, where's Bowling Green coming from? Massive win for them. They won beat a P5 opponent in Georgia Tech last week, 38-27. Winning the yardage battle, plus 21 net yards. Bowling Green is 2-3 for the season, straight up for the year with a minus 17 net yard average. Now you got to look at Miami, Ohio. They're 4-1 straight up this season, off a conference road win versus a abysmal Kent State team, 23-3, winning the yardage battle with a plus 86 net yards. Now, Bowling Green's offense, not great, right? They have a 337 yards per game of total offense, 4.1 yards per carry on the ground, 59% pass completion rate, 199 yards per game in the passing. But they're going against a Miami, Ohio defense that has bad numbers, but look who they played. They had to play Miami. They had to play Cincinnati. So those numbers a little bit inflated. So when you take them out of the equation, you actually put them in games of their caliber. And I'm talking about the non-P5s, the G5s, and even throw the FCS in there. Miami, Ohio holds their opponents to 1.9 yards per carry on the ground, plus 174 net yard average. So, I mean, listen, I'm not going to, you got to take it with a grain of salt on this one. When they play teams of their caliber, and it's historic too, from year to year with Miami, Ohio, except for last year. I think they had a bad year. When they get to the caliber of their competition inside their conference, this team shows up and plays exceptional. Also, you got to look where this is. Miami, Ohio, this is a revenge game. If you remember last season, Bowling Green beat Miami, Ohio 17-13, a 7-point. Bowling Green was a 7-point dog on that one, holding Miami to 189 yards of total offense. The reason for that is because the quarterback was out, Brett Gabbert, and they had to go with a backup that just wasn't ready to play in that game. Listen, there's all these MAC teams don't have a depth in the quarterback position. They have one guy if they're good, and when that guy gets hurt, everything goes downhill for them. So now you have Gabbert in this game, and if you actually look at the history versus Bowling Green, when Gabbert is the quarterback, he beat Bowling Green 34-7 in 2021, 44-33. I'm sorry, 44-3 in 2019. So he demolishes Bowling Green, absolutely owns them, and his statistic numbers are through the rafters too as well. Also, got to look at this matchup historically. The home team is 3-0 straight up and against the spread in the last 3 meetings. Miami, Ohio, 4-2 against the spread in the last 6 versus Bowling Green. Just a perfect spot for Miami, Ohio. Just clicks a lot of boxes for me. A revenge game for Miami, Ohio. Bowling Green off a big win for the program, beating Georgia Tech. And this matchup just tells you the history of who to take, and you always take the home team. Roll with that one, and I'm going to be taking Miami, Ohio, minus 8.5. 2-unit special, baby. As we go into the chat, Smitty joining, saying, "Morning, everybody." Oh, my God. Isn't it going to be a beautiful Saturday here as we take a sip of the Sanka, as they say? A little bit of water, too, so get a little bit of verklempt here. All right. Let's talk about some of these top 25 games that are coming up here. And, of course, the big one that everybody's going to be watching here coming up here at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oklahoma versus Texas, the Red River Shootout, the Red River Rivalry, whatever you want to call it. This game is the truth teller game, right? This is you have what happened to them, Oklahoma last year. Oklahoma just in a downtrodden year, didn't even make a bowl game. Played absolutely terrible. Venables was in shambles. Everybody calling for his head. Now, this year, they've dominated their competition. They've come in there steamrolling. However, haven't played anybody of relevant note. So you would think that Oklahoma, in a revenge game, getting demolished, I would assume Venables pounded that into their heads. That, listen, you guys got crushed last year. Is that going to happen to you this year? Or are we going to show out? I think Oklahoma is the more motivated team. You have a Texas team that's coming in here highly inflated. Everybody thinks they should be number one because they beat Alabama once in Tuscaloosa. I'm not taking anything away from Texas. I really am not. I think Texas is an exceptional team. I think they're as strong as they've ever been. Sarkisian's got those guys cooking, but I think Oklahoma is going to really test them here today. I sincerely hope it's going to be a close game like it has been historically outside of last year. I think this is within one possession game. And I think if we get down to the wire on this one, it's going to come down to whoever has the ball last. And I'm hoping it's going to be Oklahoma on this one. But if I had to lean on this one, and it may be an official play, I like Oklahoma on this one at +5, +4.5. I'm not going to take them on the money line on this one. I do have a little inkling they're going to win the game, but I could see this thing going into overtime and then somebody winning by 3, and then you just get caught with a ticket with the money line you have to put in the trash. So I would just take it on the plus on this one. But I would definitely not be on the Texas side whatsoever. I see zero value in taking them currently because the market's just got them overinflated, and they're going to be an extremely public play today. Another game on the board we're going to be talking about here, LSU versus Missouri. Missouri, welcome back. Eli Drinkowitz really making these guys look exceptional. Great wide receiver core, great quarterback. A quarterback that doesn't make mistakes, that doesn't turn over the ball. Big test for them today. They've been circling this game, and they absolutely own LSU historically too. and they play their best ball at home. Really, the boxes check more onto the Missouri side versus the LSU side. I didn't make this an official play for the reason that I thought the line would be a little bit lower. You're seeing this line hitting here at 5.5, 6 is on the board. Um, it is a noon game, of course, which Missouri has shown out in these spots. But I feel like everybody's jumping on Missouri. Everybody's not going to be on the LSU side on this one just because what happened to them last week. But it's also when you lose your second game of the season, when the expectation was national championship or bust or college football playoff or bust, you can lose 2 games in a row. You can lose the same game twice, essentially. When your hopes and dreams are inflated, that's when you get the crusher. However, 5.5 right now sitting on this line. I lean on the Missouri side because I'm a Missouri backer all the way through, but I think this is one that I couldn't make an official play on. I just think there's something fishy. I would have loved it if LSU won last week in dramatic fashion and then Missouri kind of laid flat but won the game versus Vandy because they would have been a perfect spot to jump on the Missouri train. But this one, the way the outcomes happened from last week, it's just a situational play I'm going to pass on for that game. As we get back into the chat, Bob says Oklahoma plus 5.5 and the over. Yeah, you could be seeing a lot of points in this one. Or you could see a rock fight. I think both defenses have their pluses in this game as well, especially that. You got a good pass rush with Texas, but you have a good offensive line with Oklahoma. That's going to be a real interesting challenge to watch. Candyman goes, ouch, Texas A&M. Enjoy the game. But no, I will be hoping the other way. Understand. Listen, embrace debate. That's all we can do on this one. Thoughts on the under 61 Oklahoma, Texas? I think the history of these games, usually these are high scoring games. However, it used to be that's the old Big 12 way, right? These guys are going to the SEC, and you can actually see these guys stepping up their defensive game. Texas, especially stepping up their defensive game. And Venables, what is he? He's a defensive minded coach. I think this may be a little bit of a rock fight. The under 61 would probably be the lean on this one. I'm looking at the board right now for this one. Everybody's on the over. So it's a very public play if you're taking the over side. But I would say that with that total, you may be seeing something underneath that in the, I would say, 40 to 50 range. That would be my assessment on it. So I would probably lean towards the underside. Nothing official for me. Critting, I already talked about this one. LSU and Missouri, lean the Missouri side. I wish you got 6.5. I was hoping it would jump to 7. 7 would have been a real good number to take Missouri at home. But that's the thing with Missouri. Missouri is a backable team at home, and then it's just a complete stay away on the road. However, they've been playing. They played well at Vandy last week. They played Memphis on a neutral site, so this team's actually playing a little bit better on the road. Maybe there's spots and opportunities down the way, especially the outcome of this game. Hypothetically, say if they lose this game, I think we have some value with Missouri moving forward. I just think this is a bad spot for them with LSU coming off that egregious loss to Ole Miss last week. All right, let me give you another play on this beautiful Saturday morning as 19 of you beautiful bastards are watching me live. You beautiful gun disciples. I love you guys all. Please get into the comments, get into the chat. Tell me what you're having today. Is anyone barbecuing? Is anyone smoking a brisket? I mean, what are we doing today? It's Saturday, man. Are we tailgating? Are we going to any games? I want to know that stuff. This is lifestyle shit too. It's raining. It's pissing on my head right now. I'm going to be inside watching college football all day. I don't mind a rainy day, but I'm going to have to be cooking some burgers. I'll be cooking some dogs. I'll be in my garage, like hanging out, having a few cocktails on the way. That's what I want to know from you guys on this beautiful Saturday. And listen, any plays on the board, I've looked at this thing 1,000 times this week. I have an opinion on virtually every game on the board. Okay, I can do that for you. This is what this show is for. It's for you guys, not for me. There's the Shack coming in hot, hot. on a Saturday morning, baby. Give them a little bit of yeah, too. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I have no idea what you're saying there. I don't know. I'm not going to say that. Bob +7 would, yeah, that would have been the best. And of course, the shotgun on a Saturday morning. It's the only way to live. All right, next play on the board today, and I'm getting into the crumbs of the Mac. The return of the Mac. I think Tuesdays are coming back next week, if I'm not mistaken. For Maction. Now let's talk about this game here. Northern Illinois and Akron. Another perfect spot to take a team on a revenge. We've been hammering these all season long, and they've been cashing like gangbusters. And I'm doing it again here with the road favorite, Northern Illinois, over Akron, -4.5. Now you got to look at Northern Illinois. They're 1-4 straight up, losing their last 4 games in a row. They have a -7 point differential, -30 net yard average. Akron, same spot. 1-4 straight up. Their only win was against an FCS team, Morgan State. They have a -7 point differential, -13 net yard average as well. I mean, Akron's terrible. They have a terrible offense. They only put up 300 yards per game of total offense, 199 yards in the passing game, and they also give up a lot of sacks with a 10.2% sack rate. NIU should be highly motivated in this spot. These two teams met last season. Akron beat the monkey snot out of them, 44-12 as 10-point home dogs. But you got to look what Akron is historically. 8-23 as a home dog, dating back to. I'm sorry, they were an away dog, not a home dog last season. But they are horrible as a home dog. 8-23 against the spread, dating back to 2013. And their home team in this one is 1-4 against the spread in this matchup, with Northern Illinois 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 meetings versus Akron. Also, you got to look at NIU 11-6 straight up all time versus Akron all together. I think this is a perfect spot in a get right spot. They got smoked by Akron last year, and I think Rocco Lombardi was not in that game last year. That was a little bit of the precipice of the outcome of that game. But I think NIU losing 4 games, really competing in those games. They have the balanced offense. They have a decent defense. They compete week to week versus stronger competition than Akron. It is a revenge game, like I said. It is a get right spot. I think this is a perfect spot to take the road favorite in this spot in the MAC. Give me Northern Illinois -4.5. Another 2-unit special, baby. As we get back into the chat, yeah, Shark saying Morgan State is a juggernaut. The college basketball, maybe they have a baseball team. Maybe a girls volleyball team that I'm not aware of. But Akron is, yeah, they just got smoked by everybody. And then you got Northern Illinois. Their win was against Boston College. All right, Boston College upgrade, right? And the other games they played relatively close. So, he says, Craig says soccer at noon in the rain. Hopefully you bring your galoshes and your umbrella for that one. Yeah, I can't get past the fact Akron used to be the worst covering team in college football that I tracked. Like probably besides last year, FIU did take that spot. There was a year where Akron was just covering left and right, and I think it was last year on some egregious numbers that they were getting. But like I said, home dog, they're 8-23 against the spread, dating back to 2013. So you can't back Akron whatsoever in this spot. And Northern Illinois remembers what happened to them last year, getting crushed by Akron. So I think it's going to be a perfect spot to take another revenge game. 2 revenge games in the MAC here versus low-level opponents, Bowling Green and Akron. And then, of course, these teams are going to get right here. I can't get past that. Looks like the Candyman is rain with fridge full of beer, grill some burgers, some loaded nacho sounds good. I might have to get on that one. Get the air fryer on it or something. Maybe even get a crock pot going. It's almost crock pot season. Get the stews, get the chilies, chicken dumpling soups, or just cooking up some some shredded chicken with some cream cheese. I love a good crock pot meal, but I always wait till it gets a little bit cooler where I have to put the grill away before I do that. All right, let's talk about some of these other top 25 games that are on the board this week. And we're going to be going to, let's do this one here, Maryland versus Ohio State. This is another noon kickoff. Listen, uh, here's what I think about this one. I'm high on Maryland altogether this season. I did give it out in the Big Ten preview as a over win total 7.5. I do think they are on pace to do that in this spot, but they're facing an Ohio State team at home in the shoe where teams just lay an egg for the most part, except for some of the stronger teams in the conference. But I think this is a little bit more of an upgrade that Maryland can take. This line screams an Ohio State line to me, and it's moving in that direction as we get closer to kickoff. Looking at the board here, it looks like it's minus 17. So I think there's 17s on the board. I did see it at 19, 18 and a half this morning. So maybe we're getting a little bit of into some key numbers here. But I think this is an Ohio State line to me. I do like Maryland altogether. If they're able to keep it close in this game and surprise the world, I'm going to be really high on them moving forward in some of these games. But I just think it's just like Georgia. I don't know if Ohio State's offense has really showed out yet. And they're playing a Maryland team that they typically, historically, play very well against. And I think it's a good time to jump on the Ohio State train as we get towards, serious time in the conference. So, yeah, if there's a lean on this one, nothing official, of course, I would lean on the Ohio State side of the board. Yes, sir. Chili season is so good. Yeah, crock pots are underrated. You just throw the ingredients in there and you just wait 4 hours, 8 hours if you want to slow cook it. It is just exceptional. And it makes the house smell awesome too. The Candyman can, cause he mixes. Oh, I gotta sing it. Hold on, let me get let me get a little sip of water before I. The Candyman can because he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good. A ka-chung, baby, ka-chung. There we go. A little Sammy Davis for you guys on a Saturday morning, baby. Let me give myself a. Rod Smith, my guy. What's going on this Saturday morning? Saturday mornings with The Gun. Looking forward to it every single week. Love having you guys in here. This chat is awesome. Gun disciples, praise be to you guys. LVCC says thoughts on your Irish today. I will get to that. You know what? Let's get to that right now. Because that is, I believe that's the next. Actually, I'll skip a couple of these games here and go right to this one. Notre Dame versus Louisville, 7:30 kickoff. Listen, I said it before, and this is the cap on this one. You have to understand where Notre Dame's coming from, right? They have not had a break at all this season. This is their 7th game in a row with no buys, no weeks off, and they've just been hitting the gauntlet. They just played Ohio State, close game, lost at the one line, heartbreaker. Then they had to go travel in the trappest of all trap spots in Duke, narrowly coming out with the victory on this one, but finishing the job. We may be seeing the same thing on this one. I think this is going to be within the number type of game. I think Notre Dame will come out and prevail, but I think if I want them to perform the way I want them to perform next week versus USC, I don't need to see a full effort here. I just need you to come out with the victory. The line tells me to take Louisville. I think a lot of people think this is a sharp angle, but I don't. I think when we get closer to kickoff right now, my feeling is that the line's probably going to move in the Notre Dame direction. I think Notre Dame is just a better team than Louisville altogether. I'll give you the credit where credit's due. I think Louisville's offense and their wide receivers are exceptional, but this is a Notre Dame team defense that Louisville has not seen. I saw a flat spot against them against NC State. Granted, I'd had a look ahead there. You may not have been showing all your cards in that game, but they came out with a victory on that one. I don't know who Louisville is. They are a ranked opponent, so that's good for the resume, I guess. But I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit nervous, and I think this could stay within a possession. I just don't know in what direction. You may have a backdoor cover one way or the other. But this is just a hands-off game. Listen, Notre Dame's been public before. They're a public bet with NC State. They covered that. They were a public bet with Duke. They covered that. So I wouldn't take anything away from Notre Dame. They could do the same thing here and sneak off with the hook, potentially. So this is just one of those spots where you can give me a full-blown pass. Remember, Notre Dame has won 30 straight regular season games versus the ACC. Take that into account. Don't just go with the market's telling you. Realize that Notre Dame plays their best ball versus the ACC and dominates them. So that's what I think about that game. I'm going to be just watching, no money on it, and biting my nails down to the cuticles. That is how I'm going to do for the next 2 weeks before I actually get a week off and can breathe, because they have to play 8 games in a row before their bye week. Awesome, Guns. Thank you, Candyman. I appreciate it. I guess they love the Sammy J or the Sammy Davis. I have to bring that out more often. Every time I see the Candyman, that's all that goes through my head. Little Willy Wonka action on that one as well. That was excellent. Oh, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hit him with some Sente. Is that a Volved? Is that the one? I think that's I can't remember. You have to elaborate on that one. I could probably do that one as well. Yeah, Craig likes ND to cover. Hasn't played anybody. That's correct. That's the thing about it. You can look at the Duke situation. Everybody goes, "Oh, well, Duke played Clemson, and then they went on a flat, just a bunch of low-level teams after that, and kind of lost their edge a little bit." I think even with that defense and everything, they played well, but I think the offense just laid a flat egg for Duke. And sure enough, the good teams always come out and prevail at the end. Freeman's got those guys cooking. They're exceptional, and that's what happens. Estimate long run, you get caught sleeping, and that's going to do it here. Thoughts on Fresno State and Wyoming? I actually looked at this game, and I was thinking about taking a Wyoming side. I just thought the line was a little bit higher than it would be to be on the take of a Wyoming. I know Wyoming plays their best ball at home. I know the elevations are a little bit different, but Fresno, they're not strangers to going to playing up there. I think Fresno State's one of the better teams in G5 right now. Very powerful team, very strong team. Exceptional job they're doing there with the coaching, especially losing your all-time quarterback, and then just replace him with another one, and still steamrolling teams in your conference. I have no play on this one. I think it could be a close game, and I also think that Fresno State could come out there and smoke them too. I mean, it could go one way or the other on that one. It is just a complete pass on that one. I think there's just better games on the board, better opportunities for that matter. Yeah, you said it best there. Wyoming, traditionally a tough road game. But like I said, some of these teams understand how to play in Wyoming because they go there every year, or they go there every other year, right? And Fresno State's one of them. The ones you have to take advantage of are the teams like non-conference teams that normally don't go up to Wyoming and understand the elevation aspect of it. Those are the ones that you want to be jumping on the Wyoming side. For example, the game with was it Texas Tech? That was probably a good spot, but I think Texas Tech got a little bit hamstrung on that one because of the lightning delays. Clint, can we touch on some playoffs? I got 3 units on the Astros today. Sure. Let's talk a little MLB. All right. So now we're seeing the pitching matchups. That was one that I'm watching. So Texas, Baltimore. Brad is starting at home. That is 103 first pitch on this one. It's going to be a little bit soggy, a little bit wet in Baltimore today. So looks like everybody's been jumping on the Baltimore train, and that's understandable. They've been absolutely red hot. I would probably lean somewhere on the Texas side on the first 5 on that one. And this is just me spitballing right now, okay? It's nothing official on this one. I retired from betting baseball. Ober and Verlander on this one. Verlander at home. Minnesota, 2 wins in a row. They hadn't won a playoff game in 18 straight. Do they carry the momentum in that one? I don't know about that one. That's a little bit tough. I would probably lean on the Houston side first 5. Then you got Philly and Atlanta. Strider on the mound. Strider's a little bit overrated. I always thought, like, even in first 5 situations, people would just say, like, "Oh, Strider's this, Strider's that." I was like, "Well, okay." I would probably do this. I would take Suarez is pitching for Philly. I would probably do a half a run first 5 with Philly. I just don't trust. I think Philly will step up in this situation. And granted, I'm not taking anything away from Strider on this one, but I think it's a good spot to kind of take first 5, just a half a hook. And then we got Merle Kelly on the mound on the road versus Kershaw. Ooh, ooh, that's rough. Um, that's a complete pass on that one. Those are my takes on this one. I should have pulled out my sheets to go and actually look at the outcomes of how these guys played before I made my picks, but I'm just spitballing here. You want to talk a little MLB? I gave it to you right there. But it's funny because I made a few bets and I've done really well, at least in the wild card. This, I'm just looking at these pitching matchups. I'm not in love with them. I got to be honest. I'm not in love with them. Um, I do have the future with Baltimore to win the AL. I do hope that does pan out. Um, and I think Baltimore would be rocking today. I really do. I think Baltimore is one of those teams though that they'll be behind late in the game, and then they'll straighten stuff out in the 6th or the 7th inning, and they'll come out and smack you in the mouth. That's Baltimore baseball. So I think it's a good time. I think the top bet on this one, I probably lean towards Texas first 5. That would be the one I would probably take the most, and then everything else is just me leaning. That's playoffs. I mean, so much sports going on. This is the best time. October is the best time for sports. You have MLB playoffs, you have college football, you have NFL, you got NBA coming up, you got NHL coming up. It's just going to be madness where we're not going to leave our house for 6 months like a bunch of hermits. And by the way, the Candyman said it best. Hit the like. Hit the like. Give him a yeah. 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 God love it, man. God love it. All right, let's get to some of these other games while we're on here. 43 minutes in. 20 of you guys watching right now, like he said, like Candyman said, hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the Shark channel. Listen, we're almost to 400 subscribers right now. Get us over the hump today. Today. We're gonna have a show tomorrow with the Circa Million Show NFL special. That's gonna be absolutely electric. I went 5-1. Shark swept the board, and Odds Fella went 5-1 last week. So we're heating up at the right time, the right moment. So catch the train, catch the hotness, catch the momentum that we're bringing every single week. All right, let's talk about this game. And it is an official play. By Hat is engaged. Washington State versus UCLA. UCLA favored here at home as an unranked opponent against a ranked opponent. So why is that? When you see that as a line, it's the books telling you a story. They're telling you that this is a spot where we're gonna see a team lose. That being Washington State. Washington State running red hot because they're playing at home so much. So you got Washington 4-0 straight up off a bye, beating a good team in Oregon State, a team that people thought Oregon State was going to win on the road. Oregon State just doesn't win on the road. They had a plus 88 net yard average in that game, but they did lose a turnover battle with a -1 turnover ratio. UCLA coming off a bye themselves and off a loss on the road to Utah. Tough place to play. You cannot win at Utah, unfortunately, especially in that environment. But they did win the net yardage battle with a plus 24 net yards. Positive points here for UCLA. Now you have Washington State. They played 3 straight home games in a row, and this is their first road game since they played low-level Colorado State in week 1. So they haven't had a challenging road game yet. This is why we love UCLA. What's their strength? Good passing game. It's exceptional. 400 Washington State. 405 yards per game passing, 75 pass completion rate. Cam Ward is absolutely dominant. 9.9 yards per attempt, 13 touchdowns, 0 INTs. But you got to look at the UCLA defense. This is a caliber of defense that this offense has not seen. Granted, the competition that UCLA has played so far is a little bit underrated, or actually low level at best, but they've been holding their opponents to 264 yards of total offense, 2 yards per carry on the ground, and 186 yards per game passing. Listen, they held Utah at home to 14 points. So you can take that too into account that, this team may have a good defense. They also get to the quarterback too. They can actually put a pass rusher on there, 10.9% sack rate. Now you got Washington State's defense. I would consider them average at best. They're getting away with a lot because they played at home and their competition is not great overall. Granted, Oregon State, the strongest competition that they had. So this is the gauge that I use for this one. Oregon State put up 440 yards of total offense on the road, by the way, and 6.2 yards per carry on the ground. I think this is a good spot for a good rushing team, by the way. That 6.2 yards per carry is what caught put the light bulb in my ear. UCLA may have this one. When you look at UCLA's offense, their run game is exceptional. They have 3 running backs that can run the ball. Carson Steele coming over from Ball State, 6.6 yards per carry. TJ Warden, 7.3 yards per carry. And Anthony Atkins has 8.1 yards per carry. This is Chip Kelly ball. This is Oregon ball. This is, I want to run the ball, and then I'm going to use the pass off the run. I just feel like this matchup really is a UCLA take. UCLA playing at home. Best game, circle game of the season, and they're going against a bad rush defense in Washington State. And then UCLA, quite frankly, has an exceptional pass defense. So it plays into the strengths of Washington State, and it also plays in the weaknesses of Washington State. And I think UCLA checks the boxes there. So that's why I would be on UCLA minus 3.5, 2.5 units special. Gave that out last night. Bang, bang, bang. Let's go, baby. I can't be the only one that is having fun either. We got to be having fun here on a Saturday, baby. Give me my yeah. Yeah, I got to mention this one on the Shark channel. Shark is going to be rocking some NBA here pretty soon. I know people are waiting for that one. Shark smacking the books in the NBA. As always. LVCC goes, did you touch on Wisconsin? Rutgers took Rutgers first half. Let me look at that play real quick. This is one that I kind of passed on because Rutgers lines are always just wild to me. So you have Wisconsin here, minus 12, 12.5, minus 13, full game. Just seeing here. Sorry, getting messages as we're going along here. So, over and under on this one's 55, 55.5. I'm seeing right now on the board. Oh, I'm sorry, 44 on the board. When I see a low total like that, like a under 47 or under 48 with a double-digit favorite at home, Camp Randall's a tough place to play. Taking Rutgers is a little bit dangerous to me. I think this is probably more of a Wisconsin take than anything. Lean on the Wisconsin side on this one, especially seeing them as a double-digit favorite with a low total. That kind of tells me a little bit of something about Wisconsin maybe coming out here and just holding Rutgers to virtually nothing, but getting like 24, 20. It could be like a 20. Could be a 28-10 type of game, honestly. Maybe, but I think it's going to be more on the blowout side, double-digit win for Wisconsin. And I don't want anything to do with that one. Rutgers is a little bit volatile at times, whether it be they're going to play bad or they're going to play good. Playing at Wisconsin is not easy. Not easy for anybody. If it was on the road, if you were playing in New Jersey, maybe a different story. But really, I would probably lean towards the Wisconsin side of the board. As we get back into some of these top 25 games, my guest may be rolling in here just to say hello to the people. But he's been dealing with some stuff at his house right now, and I'm talking about Dabby Cab. So we'll see if he pops in here. If not, it's all good, man. I can talk all day long. Let's talk about this game. And I think I talked about it earlier a little bit with some of the chat questions on this one. Kentucky versus Georgia, right? So Kentucky coming off that big win versus Florida at home, just beat them bad, 33-14, just crushed them, right? And now you're seeing Georgia coming at home, and they're a double-digit favorite, 14.5 on this one. This game is at 7 p.m. I was looking to see if there's going to be a good 14 on this one. Maybe we wait closer to kickoff. So it's staying right at 14.5. And I think if it gets to 14, it's going to get bought on the Georgia side. And I think people are waiting for those numbers. And I agree. I think we should wait for wait till closer to kickoff before we actually buy this game. But I think it's going to be a Georgia game. I think Georgia first half would be a great look. One of the guys in the chat put in, Kentucky is just highest of highs right now. They coming off their biggest game of the year, and they beat them at home, a team that they typically own in Florida. It's historic. So it's not a surprise that Kentucky came out with that win, in my opinion. We were on Kentucky last week because I said the history tells you always take, it's like Florida. You always take Florida versus Tennessee, and then you always take Kentucky versus Florida. Some teams just own the other team. Georgia, on the other hand, does historically play very close and very low scoring with Kentucky. So I do think that Georgia, while everybody's saying they're playing flat, they played flat on the road versus Auburn last week. They gave up a ton of rushing yards to Auburn. But I think still Georgia will always be Georgia. Kirby Smart probably smacked them in the mouth, gave them the smelling salts and said, you better wake up. And I think when you're playing a ranked opponent, you're going to wake up. And I think this is the wake-up game for Georgia. I think Kentucky's not going to get a lot of points on this one. I think Georgia's defense is going to give them fits. And I think this is the appropriate time to take the Georgia side. I also lean towards the under on this one as well. That would be my two takes on this one. Nothing official, of course, but those are my two takes on this one. I want to make sure I give my guest an appropriate introduction. You've seen him on Pub Sports. You've seen him on shows with me and breaking ankles during college basketball season. It is my guy, the man, the myth, the legend, Dabby Cat. What's going on, my friend? How you doing this afternoon?
Oh man, I've been better, but it's gonna get better, right? Been dealing with a bunch of bullshit with my house this morning with the builder, but now it's finally over, Guns, and I can finally make some college football money, man. I'm ready. I got a few bets in. I've got a few I've been leaning on that I might get to the window on this afternoon. All I know is I'm ready to make some fucking money today, man.
Absolutely. And I am all over the board. A lot of volume that I threw out there last night, and I probably have a few more looks. I'm just waiting on some lines to move. What's your top plays today?
One of the games that I'm looking at, I guess I'll just start here. I'm looking at this Washington State UCLA game. Look, one of the things I don't like to do is be on a quote unquote public side, especially when it's a public dog, which is where I think I am with Washington State here. You know, you got to pair these two teams that are in different situations as far as the Pac-12 goes right now. You've got Washington State Cougars who, you know, they're looking to deliver another victory. They had that big win against Oregon State, 38-35 at home in their previous game, which was 2 weeks ago. Both of these teams have had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. You know, but they won outright as 3-point underdogs. UCLA coming off a bye themselves, like I just said, they were defeated 14-7 on the road against number 11 Utah. Well, back then it was number 11 Utah, right? So yeah, both of these teams have had ample time to prepare for this game. Both of these teams are going to want this win big. This is going to be a big game for both of them coming into this. My main thing is, and I know we all know about Cameron Ward, but you're giving me plus points in the first half of a football game with that quarterback who's had 2 weeks to prepare for the game. Of course, I'm going to fucking take it. I expect Washington State to score early. I expect them to score a couple times early. So because I expect them to come out and score early and you're giving me points with Washington State, I took the points in the first half with Washington State.
Hey, you know what? Different opinions. I'm on UCLA today. Just full game, not in the first half. I just need them to finish it off here. But like I said before, it's like when you see an unranked favorite versus a ranked dog, I typically always jump on the unranked favorite. And I think UCLA is just below the Mendoza line of being ranked. So I think this is going to be the spot where they're going to get up into the ranking. And coming off that loss versus Utah, like I said, I already told the chat. But anyways, don't hate the pick, but I am going to roll with the UCLA Bruins today. Any other picks that you got brewing on this beautiful Saturday? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, that was quick. I do have another one that I think you'll like. I got Notre Dame in the first half against Louisville. Number 10 Notre Dame right now 5-1 straight up, 5-1 ATS. So anybody who's been backing them has been making that money. 5-1 ATS doesn't get much better than that. They're taking on number 25 Louisville right here, who is also 5-0 on the season, but only 2-1 ATS. Notre Dame's going to be on the road here. Now, look, I know Sam Hartman maybe isn't putting up Heisman numbers, but he's still playing outstanding. He's been such a great pickup for Notre Dame. I think he's going to set the trend of good quarterbacks coming to Notre Dame. So I think this is something you should be happy about. With this transfer portal open and, him leading the way there, I think we're just going to constantly see good quarterback after good quarterback funnel into Notre Dame now, which is something they've been needing. He has thrown, 145 passes this season and 14 touchdowns of those 145 passes. He's got a high touchdown count already early in this season. He could have used one more against Ohio State, but he's doing great, man. And you look, I think Notre Dame gets ahead and stays ahead in this game. Jack Plummer, the other quarterback on the other side, he's done a good job, but he has not faced a defense like Notre Dame's. The turnovers have been a problem with him, and going against this Notre Dame defense, I think it's going to be a huge problem. Notre Dame is also battle tested, right? They've already taken on Ohio State. They've played a ranked Duke team that was a very good team. Whereas you look at the other side, the Cards, they've played mostly bottom feeders. And this is a situation where I would be worried about what we call a quote unquote letdown spot with Notre Dame if they beat Ohio State. But they didn't beat Ohio State. They lost to Ohio State. Okay, so they've already got one loss under their belt, so they know they can't afford another one. They can't lose again. Like, there is no room for a letdown here. They got to win. Right. So, and I know that sounds weird to refer back all the way to that Ohio State game, but because Ohio State won that game, I think Notre Dame comes out ready. I took Notre Dame early. I got them in the first half, -3.5.
Another key point on this one. Everyone's like, well, yeah, Sam Hartman kind of laid an egg in the passing game last week. He only threw like 50% pass completion rate, but you have to understand that he was missing 3 wide receivers in that game, including 2 of his main targets. So he wasn't comfortable with throwing to whoever was left on the bench at that point. I know Chris Tyree was playing in that game. They did run the ball well with Aldrick Estime, but yeah, I can't agree with you. I agree with you on that one. I think you could see a complete blowout here with Notre Dame, and I keep bringing this up over and over again. Remember that Notre Dame has won 30 straight versus ACC opponents in regular season play. They always show up versus these guys and they dominate. So just understand that maybe people are. I know there's a lot of people, and I've said that everybody that's been talking about this game is saying, "Oh yeah, we're taking Louisville, and I'm like,
man.
Come on. I mean, stop.
Guns, let me tell you something. College football is the one sport where it seems like it doesn't matter who I get on this stage with. It doesn't matter who I talk with. I'm always against the chat. I'm always against everyone. And used to, it didn't faze me in the slightest. This season is the first season that I've started down negative units in college football in my life of capping, actually. College football has always been my most profitable thing. So I guess this year it might matter, but you know what? We're going to turn it around quickly. I can still see the green. It's not like I'm like down like 20 or 30 units. I can still see the green. We're not even at double digits.
You're only in week 6. It's like you have the first 4 weeks are a learning lesson, and then you start getting into conference play, and that's where the stats start coming out, right?
Right.
Like, I'm lucky. I'm sitting right now probably plus 15 units in college, and I was like, that's a good start because last year I finished plus 45. So, that I'm already on pace to get over 50. Knock on wood, can't mess it up. I have a big card today. I went really aggressive, especially Texas A&M. I'm going to be that one's going to be
man, if you want to talk about that one, we can. I don't have a bet on that one, but like, god damn, that line is crazy. You got to understand as an A&M person, that line scares the shit out of me, man. Like,
it should.
They're telling you to bet A&M. They're telling you that A&M is going to win that football game. That's what the books are telling you, and that scares me as an A&M guy.
As a guy that reads numbers, A&M is. I said it last night on the show. I was like, and I know Jimbo Fisher has won a national championship at Florida State. I think that this is probably his best coach team that he's ever had. And I'm saying that because of the defensive side. That defensive line is exceptional. They're
Where were they
incredible.
against Miami? But yeah, so I'm not
But
a huge. I'm not
that
a
was
huge.
I said that was like it was week 2. It was a situational game, and they beat Miami with like virtually nobody last year. So that sometimes you get caught in those revenge spots, and you end up just not showing up on the road. It happens.
It was
But
not the team; it was the coach.
yeah,
It was their. He didn't. They didn't put any pressure on Miami whatsoever in that game. And then you watch the next 2 games; they come out, like against Auburn and Arkansas with just different blitz packages. They have different situations for the defense. Their coach was not ready for that game against Miami. It wasn't the players, and that pissed me off. Like as a fan, it made me really angry to see how ill prepared that defense was. Now, I will say I do agree with you though with the coaching especially on the offensive side with Petrino. They needed Petrino on that offense. Jimbo was like Dabo Sweeney. He's just, 3 yards of play, have to have it every single play. As soon as you make a mistake, the offensive drive is dead. And that was one of those things that I could not stand to watch with Jimbo, but now Petrino's got him cooking, man. He's got that offense rolling.
yeah, and that was a big ad for them too, because their offense was what was holding them back last season. And a lot of those wins, even though the defense was showing up as young as they were, adding Petrino to that element and really bringing in that offense has brought them up above into the championship caliber level, in my opinion. And I said it, and I'll say it. I'll continue to say it until I'm wrong. I think Texas A&M has the opportunity to win the SEC. They should definitely win the SEC West and be the team that's going to be in the SEC championship. The Georgia game is going to be a little bit competitive and scary, but Texas A&M, I'm really high on them. I got their team total over on wins. I think this is the time to be jumping on the Jimbo train all the way to the station. Football guy in the chat saying doing a mobile watch and comment at my daughter's showcase hoops game. I've done it, man. I've sat there at soccer games with my phone watching football. So I've been there. You have to multitask as a parent. I get that. As of course Debbie understands that as well. But not sure if I miss this. Any discussion about Michigan minus 18.5? You have any thoughts on this game?
I don't.
Yeah. That one's at noon, I believe. As I'm pulling it up here, is that a noon game? I think it is.
It's funny you say that it's a noon game too, because it's like if this was a later game that I wasn't that interested in, I would have looked at it. But when it's one of the early games, if I'm not interested in, I move quick because it's not going to sit there on the board the rest of the day. You know what I mean?
Right. Here's the thing with Michigan. I've kind of like skipped their games for the most part because of just the competitions that they're playing. I have spots in my head where I'm going to take them down the road. But I think the worst part of their schedule is probably the last 4 weeks of the season, and I'm talking about November. That's when we're going to start to hone in on Michigan a little bit, because of course they have, I think, Penn State somewhere in there. I think they have Ohio State, and then they have Maryland, and then there's another one too that I was circling. But I'm waiting on Michigan for sure. Right now, I just think Michigan's gonna. I mean, they're either gonna cover spreads if they're not, but they're gonna win by double digits on whoever they play right now. I mean, honestly, they should be the number. I mean, with them in Georgia, it's 1A, 1B as far as who the number one team is currently. A couple games I want to talk. Actually, I want to bring this up as people are joining us now. Probably missed this one. I know this is the most popular thing in the Morning with GunzPicks show, and we talk about this. It is the freshly brewed cup of coffee parlay. Cup of coffee parlay sponsored by Viva Tequila Seltzers, 4.5 ABV, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, delicious tequila seltzer drink. Please have some today. You can go to vivaseltzer.com and order yourself some cases. Now, cup of coffee parlay on this one, I'm going to be going with Oklahoma plus 4.5. I think it's a get right revenge spot against Texas. Missouri plus 5.5 against a deflated LSU team that hopes and dreams were shattered. UCLA money line, FSU money line, Purdue money line, Texas A&M money line, Northern Illinois money line, Florida money line, GGA money line, and Ohio State money line. That is a plus 5,290 parlay. You put $10 on it, you win $529. You can find that on FanDuel or any other books. It'll be around that line. But that is the cup of coffee parlay for today. Boom! So what else are you looking at today? What else are you brewing? I know you got a show coming up here at noontime Eastern on Pub Sports live stream. Is that correct? Mike?
We'll be live for that Oklahoma-Texas game here in just like 30, 40 minutes, actually. So it'll be real soon. Going to be looking at that game to live bet it. I have a bet on Oregon State first half here also. So that's another one. I know a lot of people are looking at Cal. A lot of people are happy with what Cal's done this year. Cal's 3-2, 1-1 in the Pac-12. And the Beavers are coming off that 21-7 win over Utah as 4-point favorites. So it's a big win for them. Bears coming off their 24-21 win over Arizona State. Arizona State's a terrible football team. Just going to let everybody know that right now. Beavers have won 4 of their last 5 games, which includes 2 wins over ranked opponents. So I understand how some people might think this could be a letdown spot. They've been playing well offensively. They're averaging more than 30 yards per game. The Beavers are. They love to run the ball. They've picked up more than 200 yards per game on the ground here this season. They've done a good job throwing the ball also. You know, DJ is interesting to watch him in this transfer portal, see him playing for a different team now. He's just laughing his ass off at what Clemson's been doing also, too. He's been absolutely enjoying the hell out of that, I got to imagine. The Bears, they've done a good job, this season. Like I keep saying, they've defended the pass decently. They've won 3 of their 5 games, which is a ton for this team. Done good offensively. They've scored more than 30 points a game on average. But you watch, you look against like what they did against Auburn, who's not a very good football team, just couldn't score. They're going to be outmatched here in the trenches on both sides of the football. And that's my thing with Oregon State. I think Oregon State gets ahead and stays ahead. You're only asking me for 4.5 points in the first half of this game with Oregon State. I'll take it every time. So Oregon State first half right here. It's another bet for me.
It's like every single pick. I gave out Arizona State on the show.
Arizona State. They're playing. It's Oregon State.
Yeah, Oregon State, and then Oregon State. I'm on Cal +8 too.
Oh, you're saying because I said they're a bad football team? Bad football teams still cover.
I look. That's correct. I mean, you're on first half, so first halves are a little bit different than full game and different looks, different takes. And yeah.
Oh, you're on Cal?
I'm on Cal full game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, like I said, I haven't had a very good season, so we'll see how it goes.
So yeah, I gave it out here on the ad. I got Arizona State full game as well, +4.5. I think that is such a rat line, and I broke it down here. I think Arizona State's defense is underrated. Nobody knows about them. They've played bad. I mean, they've lost games, but they've lost them close. So I think with Colorado, with as bad as their defense is, we'll be able to stay in the game regardless of the offensive production with Colorado. So that's how I like it here. Football guy in the chat says thoughts on Florida State team total over first half in game. I know a friend of mine, the partner in the Circa, was telling me about that Florida State game. He told me to hammer it. He said Florida State's going to demolish them. So take that with a grain of salt. Nothing I'm on officially. I know they're playing Virginia Tech off a win. And they're playing at home, so maybe it's one of those spots where they just absolutely steamroll a team like Virginia Tech. So I'd probably lean on the Florida State side. That the over. I think they're going to score a lot of points on this one. That would be my lean on that one. And we talked about Michigan. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for everybody that's joining here as we hit the 10 o'clock a.m. on the East. I think it's 10 o'clock over on your side, Dabby. But all you guys that have joined me today, whether you're watching now, you're watching later, please like and subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you know every time we're going live. Make sure you go check out Pub Sports with Dabby as he does a live stream for the Oklahoma and Texas game. I believe Connor Mack's going to be on that as well. So go check that out and go hang out with those boys and support everything that they're doing on Pub Sports. Now, just to break it down, my 3 added plays on this one. We're going to take Arizona +4.5, Miami in a revenge game -8.5, and we're also going to be taking Northern Illinois -4.5. Those are going to be the added plays on the Saturday mornings with GunzPicks. I appreciate everybody that's joining. Anything else you want to plug before we close them out here, Deb?
No, that's it, man. If you guys are able to, come tune into the live stream that we'll have going here in a minute.
Hell yeah. That's going to do it here for Saturday Mornings with Guns. Appreciate all you guys joining us in the chat. football guy, LVCC, JR Black, the Candyman, of course, the shark guy, David had, I'm not going to say your last name. I'm going to screw that up. Clint, Theron, 14, Smitty, Craig, everybody, you beautiful bastards that supported me all along. Let's join. We'll be back next Saturday, 10 a.m. for more college football banner. And of course, join us Sunday for the Circa Million Show. Me, the Shark, and the Odds Fellow to talk a little NFL with the picks. Good luck with everything, all your picks today. Let's have ourselves a damn Saturday. And as always, let's keep dancing. Where's the closeout? Bang! Yeah!